What's going on, guys? So today we're going to be talking about how Ubisoft just wrapped up its latest earnings call, and there was a lot more happening behind the scenes than people expected, and it feels like the company is trying to reset its direction without making a big show out of it. Since Ubisoft hasn't had the smoothest few years, people were already throwing theories everywhere about Tencent pulling out or Ubisoft selling something major because the cancellation came minutes before the original time slot. Turns out it wasn't anything wild, and they said new auditors were the reason for the delay. Even with that explanation, the entire call felt different, like everyone knew something bigger was brewing under the surface. One of the biggest topics that came out this call was Ubisoft talking about Assassin's Creed Shadow and how much it carried them this year. They didn't give an exact number, but Mod said the franchise is overperforming, which honestly surprised me because the last few years felt shaky. The Mirage expansion also helped with Valley of Memory, pushing the game past 10 million players, which is crazy for an expansion that didn't even feel like a huge release. Ubisoft sounded more relieved than proud, and you can hear it in the way they talked about Shadows. It's obvious Assassin's Creed is still the backbone holding everything together. The call also shifted towards Rainbow Six Siege, and Ubisoft tried to clear the air because the community has been frustrated. They admitted the cheating issue has been hitting the game hard, which players already knew, but it's weird to hear Ubisoft actually say it out loud. I'm not gonna lie, I've been playing Rainbow Six Siege since Operation Health, and till now, there's been no fix for the cheaters. Like, it's even worse now. But, you know, what can we do? But the summer spike in players did happen, and that shows Siege still has pulling power, but keeping those players is the real challenge. They said they identified the main issues and have a plan, but Siege fans have heard that line too many times for anyone to blindly trust it. Ubisoft really needs to deliver this time because the player base has been carrying that game for almost a decade. And Tencent came up during a call because of their investment deal with Vantage Studios. Tencent is putting $1.2 billion into that studio, and that instantly tells you Ubisoft is planning something long term. Ubisoft has always been cool with Tencent, but this feels like they're locking in a deeper safety net after the rocky years they just had. That deal could change the tone of Ubisoft's future releases depending on how much influence Tencent ends up having. I think Ubisoft knows they need stronger partners if they want to climb back up. Another major talking point was Ubisoft going all in on generative AI. And Mott made it sound like this is the next big shift for the whole industry. He said they were applying Gen AI to high value work like production quality programming and even art, which honestly sounds risky with how players react to AI. Ubisoft really believes AI is as big as a leap as going from 2D to 3D, which is wild to say out loud, but it shows how serious they are. They're already building on the Neo NPC system from last year and pushing it across all teams. Ubisoft is clearly betting heavy on this, even though most players aren't sold yet. AI in game development has been one of the most controversial topics all year, and Ubisoft knows they're sitting right in the middle of that conversation. The Pax Romana drama already had people accusing them of AI art, and that alone made players more skeptical. Other studios like Activision and Krafton had AI issues too, so Ubisoft isn't isolated, but they definitely get judged harder. Players are still debating how much AI should even be allowed in game development, and Ubisoft didn't back down at all. It feels like Ubisoft is pushing forward and waiting to see if the community adjusts or explodes. Ubisoft already revealed they have 4 games coming in Q1 2026, which is a heavy lineup for one quarter. That includes Rainbow Six Siege Mobile, The Division Resurgence, Prince of Persia Remake, and a mystery title they didn't name. The first 3 aren't shocking, but that secret title is the one everyone wants info on because Ubisoft didn't even leave a hint. Whenever Ubisoft hides a title like that, it's usually something they want to control the rollout for. With the Game Awards around the corner, people think we're getting that reveal sooner than Ubisoft planned. One of the theories is that the hidden title is Assassin's Creed Black Flag Remake. That amount of Black Flag leaks and rumors last year was ridiculous because people basically convinced themselves it's real already. Ubisoft hasn't confirmed anything, but fans have been begging for this remake for almost a decade. If this ends up being the 2026 release, Ubisoft will easily own the entire year because Black Flag was one of the most requested remakes ever. Shadows already proved the franchise is still unstoppable, so Black Flag Remake will blow everything open. Another rumor is that the secret game is Far Cry 7, because those alleged leaks hit earlier this month and got everyone talking again. Ubisoft has been extremely silent about the next Far Cry, which honestly makes the rumors feel a little bit more real. Some leaks got denied, like the Cillian Murphy villain rumor, but players kept piecing clues together anyway. The North Korea inspired leak also came back too, which added even more fuel. Far Cry 7 could definitely be the 2026 surprise if Ubisoft wants something bold that isn't tied to AC. Looking back at the call, you could tell Ubisoft is still trying to climb out that rough patch they've been in. Mott kept talking about overperformance and strong brand momentum because the investors needed reassurance. Assassin's Creed Shadow gave Ubisoft breather room, but they know it won't last forever. The rest of their lineup hasn't been consistent, and every new shift in direction gets extra attention. The call wasn't negative, but it felt like Ubisoft trying to convince everyone they're stabilizing again. The Tencent partnership plays a big role in that stability because Tencent influence can reshape an entire release strategy. Tencent doesn't drop $1 billion unless they see long-term value, so they clearly believe Ubisoft can bounce back. Vantage studios might end up handling the future Ubisoft IPs or expansions, depending on how this partnership evolves. These kind of deals usually aim to speed up production or reduce development risk. Players are going to watch closely because Tencent always changes the dynamic. During the call, Ubisoft stressed how Shadows prove there's still a massive demand for single-player open-world games. Ubisoft honestly needed that reminder because a few years ago, they were forcing live service ideas into everything. Shadows doing big numbers shows players just want solid games, not experiments. It keeps Assassin's Creed grounded and stops Ubisoft from trying to live service pivot. They really needed this win. The earnings call also show how Ubisoft's next 2 years are shaping up. They're still pushing mobile hard with Siege Mobile and Division Resurgence. They're heavily investing in AI tools. They're leaning on Assassin's Creed to carry that momentum. The question is how all these directions line up without Ubisoft repeating their old mistakes. Ubisoft AI direction is going to be the hottest debate for a long time because they're moving way faster than other major publishers. They see AI as a powerful production tool that saves time and money. Players worry about creativity and actual jobs, but Ubisoft keep emphasizing that AI just supports, not replace developers. Ubisoft thinks this gives them a competitive advantage. Whether that's true depends on how players react to the final product. Guildmont comparing this AI push to the jump from 2D to 3D was wild because it shows how serious Ubisoft is about to shift. Development costs are insane right now, and Ubisoft thinks AI is the only way to keep up. They're already putting these tools into major franchises, so we'll start seeing the results soon. If AI really cuts dev time by the way Ubisoft claims it, it could change the entire industry. If it backfires, players will blame Ubisoft for pushing that too fast. And dropping 4 games in Q1 is a bold move. It could either revive Ubisoft or overwhelm everyone. Siege Mobile, Division Resurgence target different groups, but Prince of Persia and the mystery title are the big ones. That mystery title is going to overshadow everything once it drops. Ubisoft loves stacking releases, but doesn't always work out for them. They'll need perfect timing on this. The Tencent partnership could tie these mystery projects because Tencent loves fast production cycles. Vantage Studios could take over expansions or side projects, while Ubisoft focuses on mainline releases. Tencent's funding usually speeds everything up. Ubisoft wants more consistent output, so it makes sense. That might be the real reason Tencent's involvement is so big this time. AI is going to be in almost every Ubisoft game moving forward, and they made that perfectly clear. Ubisoft sees AI as the only way to keep up with massive development demands. Players don't love the idea, but Ubisoft isn't slowing down. If the game turns out great, nobody will complain. If they don't, Ubisoft will take all the heat. Ubisoft also needs a stable revenue because past few years been tough. Live service experiments failed, several projects got cancelled. Assassin's Creed saved them this year, but they can't depend on that one franchise forever. Ubisoft knows they need to release more hits and fewer gambles. They're trying to rebuild that foundation. They also need to rebuild trust because layoff delays and weak releases damage their image. Shadows help, but Ubisoft needs consistent wins to fully recover. If the 2026 lineup hits, they could have their strongest year in a long time, but another flop or big controversy could reset all of that. Ubisoft is in a fragile position right now, and we just hoping to get better. Overall, the Ubisoft's earnings call wasn't flashy, but it shows exactly where the company is headed. They're leaning on core franchises, building risky partnerships, and betting on AI to speed up development. Shadows prove they still know how to deliver when it matters, and Siege reminded them that they can't ignore long-term problems. Ubisoft is finally in the direction again. Now just a matter of whether they can stick the landing. But let me know what you guys think about this. Like I said, for AI, I don't know. Hopefully in the future it's good. Hopefully in the future it's not, buggy, too buggy and so noticeable and so repetitive. But let me know what you guys think about this. It's your boy Memories, man. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll catch you boys next time. Peace.